Hello, everyone. This is the Impact Life Show, and you're on again today. Today is the 22nd of September, 2020, and I'm excited to be on the show with you today with another of our amazing guests. Oh, my guest today is such an inspiration that I cannot wait to introduce to you. She's done an amazing work and still does an amazing work for underserved children in local communities and very poor communities. I want you to sit back and just be like me, excited today because today's show is going to be an amazing one. Um, I want us to also, I want to remind us that this show is about inspiring impact and inspiring us to make impact every day with our lives. It's something that we always say that we cannot and we will not wait anymore for Africa's development to come from our government. We will, each of us, begin to make impact with our lives so that collectively and with all other stakeholders, we will ensure that our nation and our continent is reached and exactly where it ought to be, impacting all the nations of the world. So today, without much ado, this is the Impact Life Show, and my name again is Isioma Success Olubenga. It's my pleasure to bring you the show every single Tuesday, and I'm excited, especially today. Today is my wedding anniversary, and you can wish me a wedding anniversary. I'm grateful to God for how He's helped me. I'm grateful to God for the impact that He's made with my marriage in the last 13 years. But today is not about my marriage and it's not about my anniversary. Today is about showcasing another amazing work of impact and showcasing and just sharing and being inspired by the story of Oluwatosin or Taiwo. I will just want her to mention that part of her name. I don't want to murder it. So I would go straight to bringing in my guest on the show. You can follow her work on Atosi O Taiwo on Instagram and at Street to School NG. So I'll bring up my guest straight away. And please share the video, like our page, subscribe for our channel on YouTube. You'll have the link very shortly. And this is our guest. Yes. So she's very shy. So please just have
Okay.
mercy on her. Don't ask her too much questions. I'll do all the questioning.
So, mm,
So today, this is Tosin. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you,
thank you for having me.
Oluwatosin. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I need you to have a bit of some movement so that you can position properly. Your
Okay.
positioning, yes, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
This is the founder of the
Okay.
Street to School initiative, an amazing young woman doing an amazing work in Alimosho local government and in many other parts of the country where she's
Yeah.
been able to help young children. Um, I would, like we always do on this show, I would read out our profile very quickly and we will meet her. So, one is that we read out our profile, and two is that we will meet our beautiful guest. So, Oluwatosin Olowoyeye Taiwo, I got that, is the
Yes.
recipient of the 2012 United Nations Council General Award. She is the founder of Street to School Initiative, a nonprofit organization in Nigeria which provides access to quality learning for street children or street kids out of school children in underserved areas. Since 2010, Tosin has consistently mentored and sponsored young people to register freely for the basic national examinations, such as GCE, JAM, NECO, WAEC. Also, she has supported more than 20,000 back to school through our annual back to school project and donation of basic learning materials to underserved children. In 2015, she established a free school for out of school children in Alimosho local government of Lagos State, where 198 children have daily access to quality learning, with 75 previously out of school children transited to high school. In 2018, a loss of a 7-year-old pupil informed her partnership with the Embassy of Japan to renovate and fully equip two abandoned primary health centers in Agbado Okeado Council. Tosin is a recipient of the national recognition of the United Parcel Service and 2019 awardee of the Education and Innovative Award from Education Partnership Tip Center. She's a fellow of the U.S. International Visitors Leadership Program, Washington, D.C. She's a graduate of computer science from the University of Lagos and a graduate of Social Sector Management from Lagos Business School, EDC. In her spare time, Tosin enjoys fish farming and knitting. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful profile, Tosin. Thank you for coming on the show. And
Thank you.
like I always say on the show, would like to meet you, would like to experience Tosin real time on the show. So can you help us experience you on the show? Can you help our viewers experience who Tosin is?
Okay. As you've said earlier, my name is Tosin Taiwo, and I am the last born of a family of, four boys. And yes, I happen to be the only girl as well. Yes, I attended, Polish children's school, and I remember also going to Keja High School, then the University of Lagos. I studied computer science.
Mhm.
As a child, I used to be very shy, and I think, I don't know, I'm trying to overcome that. Um, yes, I studied computer science at the University of Lagos, but here I am today. I'm so particular, about out of school children. Sadly, it's no longer a breaking news that Nigeria is home to the highest number of out of school children in the world. And as an individual, I feel, it's no longer about what the government is going to do for us. It's about what we
Yeah,
can do as individuals to, help our brothers,
yeah.
to help our sisters, to help those children out there. It's not just about sending your children to the best school and having the best for your children. The number of those children out there, they are in their huge number. I mean, out of school children. And I see it as
Mhm.
our responsibility, as a collective responsibility, to ensuring that no child is left behind in living a responsible life. Going to school is living a responsible life. It's much better than living a child
True.
I do on the streets with no future ambition.
Mhm.
And before you know it, they become a big threat to the community. So as an
Mhm.
individual, I just had to, get started in doing everything I have to do in the little corner that God
Mhm.
has blessed me with. And I
Mhm.
shared a post yesterday on WhatsApp, and that post actually brought me down memory lane. And it happened that while I was 9 years old, I remember I would bring together children in the neighborhood. We were fortunate. I mean, I was privileged to have a big blackboard that my parents bought for me because I love teaching, gathering children. So I used this board to teach other children in the community. I would bring them together. But there was this particular father, a single parent. He would call me and ask me to help him to mentor his son. And this was a son of about 5 years old. And look at me, I was 9 years old. And he would pay me. Yes,
Wow.
he wouldn't pay me to do this. I didn't ask for the payment because I was just doing what I love doing, gathering the children. Whatever I learned from my private school, I will come. It was a face me and face you, house. So I will bring the children together. I was so excited about sharing knowledge. So 9 years, and today now, when I think about this journey, the man is late now, but he was one of those that I will call, dream enabler. He encouraged me in what I was doing. He believed in me to help his little child, to mentor the
Yeah.
child, to teach the child. And I remember doing this. He won't buy the best notebook for this boy, pen and everything, and he won't pay me to do this thing. So remembering that yesterday, I mean, it makes me, appreciate God for the journey thus far, because it has not been by, my own doing or what we do as streets to school. It started somewhere. So God had a purpose, God had a plan when we got started that many years back, 9 years. And look at us where we are today. We've been able to help more than 20,000 children, helping them with a lot
Wow.
of things, educational items. So Tosin is still that little girl that is passionate about that is so passionate about ensuring that no child is left behind. Every child counts, and it doesn't have to be your biological child alone. Every child counts in God's eye. Yeah,
Fantastic. You know,
thank you.
Tosi, I can't get enough of your story. It's been such an inspiration since I just um, encountered you and the
Thank
story
you.
of your work. It's been such an
Thank you.
inspiration to me. I won't lie. And
Thank you.
like I said, you've been able to tell us, how you started. And very quickly, I rehashed the fact that you said a man saw something in you, a 9 year old. It's always been there waiting for someone to just believe that this girl can do this thing. And, I imagine how that little encouragement or that little avenue to unleash the impact within you has been the core inspiration for you to
Yeah.
stay on with the work that you do today. You know, can you tell us when you truly began to consciously, because many times we are doing a lot of things very unconsciously, but can you tell us when you started consciously desiring to make impact with your life, when you began to truly recognize that that 9 year old was a person set on a trajectory to impact um, many people?
Okay. That the journey actually, the journey to discovery started during NYC. Yes. I remember during NYC, for the first time I was leaving Lagos. So I went to Lokoja. I was posted to Lokoja in Kogi State. And when I got there, I saw what these young people were going through. Prior to that time, I was working with a software company. So, I studied computer science. I was interested in database management. And this was something I loved. And then talked about programming and all that. I was working in this place before NYC. But when I went for NYC, it was a different story because I lost interest totally in the
Wow.
coding world. Yes, I did. Because I was so overwhelmed by the lack of attention that these young people are not getting. I mean, when you look at young people out there, because I went to their schools, NYC afforded me the opportunity to live close to them. I visit them in their school. I hear their stories. I could see the gap that something needs to be done. That it seems they can't discuss this with their parents, so they are looking for who to pour their burden out to. And this affects a whole lot of things. If a child is not mentally balanced, if there's a whole lot going on in a child's life, automatically every facet of that child's life won't be affected. So when this results of in 2008 came out that a large percentage of young people failed WAEC, and that was more than 80%, I knew that these children were not poor. I knew that there was something wrong with the approach. And it's either we go to the cause roots of the problem to address it. It's enough for the government to tag these children as they are not serious, they are just whiling away. No, there's a whole lot happening in their lives. How much attention are we paying to these leaders of the future? So during NYC, I saw myself going around helping them. Then after NYC, when I came back to Lagos, I felt that I knew that I couldn't do this thing alone. So what I did was we started a mentoring program. I was so crazy, as in about this initiative. I would go on Facebook, even till date. The only thing I do on Facebook is to post about our project and what everyone needs to take action on. It's not about you. It's not about me telling you about my life, what I hate in the morning. No, it's a collective responsibility. So I tell people, oh, there are young people out there. We need mentors, and before you know, most of the people we have that are still with us and friends and sponsors, they are people that have been on our journey for 10 years. So they knew when we got started
Wow.
as a youth mentoring organization. So we started reaching out.
Sorry, Tosin. There was a break there. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're back.
So we have people that are still our friends that have been on this journey with us for 10 years. So we asked to, like, on Facebook through mails. I would send mails as if my life depended on it. We sent hundreds of mails to young professionals,
Wow.
and what we were asking them to do was to volunteer as a youth mentor. Interestingly, we were able to get response from matured adults, from professionals that they said they were going to mentor young people. And what we did was we paired these young people in secondary school with mentors. So we didn't have the luxury of phones then. There were no phones. It was, even if they had phone, maybe just one in a family. It was pretty expensive. So we had mentors going to the homes of these children. We have mentors visiting these young people in their secondary school, taking pictures and sending to me. We have people that will write letters to the student, because I was like, these children are not poor. They are not academically poor. There's something wrong with them. 86% of students in the
Yeah.
nation cannot fail an examination, and would think the problem is with just
The
the
student.
students.
The
No, it's a
student.
whole lot. So we were able to do this for like 2 years, and we're able to move from one school to the other, pairing young people with professionals for 6 months mentoring program, for 3 months mentoring program, until date. I could
Wow.
tell you that one of them is a lecturer. One of those students then, he might be
Whoa.
listening. Yes, he finished with a
Wow.
first class. Yes, he finished with a first class and is lecturing at the moment. There's another one. He's also, he finished from Unilag. He was also one of those we mentored and we paired. Until date, he still has this relationship with his mentor. And it's been
Wow.
like 10 years. The
Wow.
mentor the mentor is a senior manager in a bank, and this is a young man that studied physics in Unilag, and they are still friends. So not
Wow.
just this, there are many more that we're able to, because we know that it's a whole lot. It's not just about me, it's about all of us. Let's do this thing together. Let's bring about the change that we really
That you
desire.
want. Yes.
Yes, it's enough about complaining what the government is not doing. It gives me headache. Whatever everyone can do, no,
Great.
sincerely,
Yes.
whatever
Yes.
everyone can do, just get started already. And there's
Yes.
something about God. There's something about God. God is always intentional. There's a role everyone is to play. So stop pointing fingers to the government when God has given you a talent to fill up a space. Do your part collectively. With time, the government will get it right. But now that things are not working out the way we want with the government, let's get engaged. Let's get busy. So when we
Pretty
did the
girl.
mentoring,
Pretty girl. That's, you're just hitting the chords
yeah,
for me everywhere.
it is.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Tosi.
you.
I know if I leave you, imagine this lady saying she's shy. And I warned her. I said, you will come to the point where you will share from your heart and you
Yeah.
would not even remember that you were shy
Yeah, that's
before
true.
now.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
because this is what you do, this is your work, this is something that is burning in your heart. And so I don't need to, you don't need to, you will even forget that there is a camera anywhere, because you will share from your heart. um,
Yeah.
just because of the angle of the screen, I need you to move
Okay.
a little more, move a little more
Okay.
out. Yeah, thank you
Okay.
so
I'm
much.
trying to.
Yes,
Okay.
and don't move away again. Thank you.
I'll
So,
try not.
you said so much in one piece. And I know that our viewers are already, because this program is about inspiring us to just live, live and just become everything that we need to become, because there's each of us have something that we've got to give, and we must do that. I want to appreciate Adedolapo Osuti. Thank you for being on the show. And for everyone watching, please share your impact story. Share what you're already doing. Share what you're doing with us. We would love to just talk about what you're doing. We would love to bring you to the show. Yeah, if you're doing something that you think that it would inspire someone else, or someone doing an amazing work of impact, please share with us, and we will bring that person on the show. Thank you, Adedolako. Adedolako says, "Well done, Tosin." Yes,
Thank you.
Dolako is such, she's doing an amazing work just like you
Yeah.
in Magboro community. And it just says how the little things that we do come together in collaborative impact to even make things better for a lot of underserved children. What's your big why for the work that you do for Street to School? I know you've talked about so many things. Why are you doing this work? I know that from the time between when you started, when there was really no funding to this work. I know a lot of people come into nonprofit because they believe that there is funding. And yes, there is funding at some point, but how do you stay through to the work that you do? How do you push through beyond the naysayers, beyond the people that do not even believe that you're doing a worthwhile work? We have a lot of people also put down the work that nonprofits do. They feel it's nothing. They feel, what is all of you doing nonprofits? Can you please talk about the big why? Why did you start? You've talked a bit of that, but why are you on the journey? Why did you not back off when the funding was not coming? Why are you not backing off even now when it seems sometimes overwhelming? Can you share that with us? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Firstly, I'll say. Firstly, I'm going to say one of the reasons why we do what we do as Street to School is just to help the vulnerable children out there, so that when they grow up, they won't have regrets. That if only somebody sent me to school, if only I had the opportunity. As I said earlier, God created everyone equally. And whatever help you can do to the next fellow, to make life meaningful for that person, get started already. I grew up with a mom that missed out from, getting the opportunity to go to a secondary school. And could you believe that till date, she still talks about this missed opportunity, that if only she had the opportunity to study medicine. And you could even see from her, she knows so much about medicine, as in drugs. She can tell you what drug to use when you're having this. I was like, God, when did you study this? How do you know about this? So it's still in her. So when I see young people out of school, I don't wish they have that kind of regret that my mom has. I don't wish they would grow up and start referencing to their missed opportunity. So in my capacity, whatever I can do to help a child, it has costed me so much in the past, even till now. And there are times I'll just even tell God that I wish this cup could pass over me, because it can be so overwhelming when you are caring for others' children. And it seems, what are you gaining from this? I've had school owners, I've
Yes.
had a school counselor in a public school. She called me. She said, "Who is paying you for this?" I couldn't answer her. And I've had also school principal, blacklisting us, maybe because of their
Yeah.
past experience with NGOs. But I was like, no, we want to help these children. We want to connect them. She was like, no, you're doing it for money. And before you know it, she was shouting. I get back to the car that day and I wept my life. I was like, who asked me? Who is? But could you believe that actually doesn't stop me? I mean,
Yeah.
if I have a regret about doing it, the next moment I'm happy talking to a child. I'm on the phone, receiving a phone and connecting to some of those children. That for me is living. If you don't impact, you've not started living. You begin life not even at 40. You begin life, a fulfilled life, when you begin to impact people, people that are not even going to pay you
Oh
back.
my.
You
Oh
are
my.
doing it. I'm sorry. You are doing it not
Oh,
because of
that's
the
you're just
payback.
excited because
No.
that's the message. That's the
Yeah,
message.
yeah. Life doesn't start at 40. It starts the day you start impacting lives positively and you're not looking for any reward from it. I tell you, there are lots of crosses to carry. We've carried and we're still carrying because there were times that even in the hands of those you trusted to help you, they fail. I'm sorry to say. Then you have to turn back to God and tell God, you called me. You know, I'm tired. I've done the ones I can. Please take this cup. And you're like, my grace is sufficient. I'm like, no, this grace is not sufficient. I'm
It's not
tired.
sufficient.
Sincerely, there are times you share tears, and there are times you get calls from a family that has not eaten, and that is the truth. It's that is what is happening in the grassroots level. I laugh when people come and they feel everything is all right. No, we like when we started school, the big why for me, I hope I've been able to answer why we do what we do. The truth is, the truth is there are times I'm able to answer that question, and there are times I will tell you I truly don't know. Sincerely, I don't know because there are times I do it and people are like, you are too passionate. Is it only you and all that? But I just note that in God's eye, every child is equal, whether they are black, whether they are from poor family, whether they are from rich family. So as a child of God that we are, we must see every child equally and treat them with respect and dignity and equally. So all these children will tell them, it's not about your background. We believe in the grace and the potential that God has bestowed in you. And the truth is, like the guy that finished, one of the mentees that passed through us, that came out with a first class, I could remember then when he was in secondary school. We couldn't see the future, but we believed in all of them that there's a plan, God's plan, there's God's plan for your life. You must live this plan. You have to be serious. You have to focus. You have to do so. We did all that. So one thing I'll say, like running this school has brought me into a lot of, appreciating God for every penny I have because there are children in certain conditions that they did not bring it upon themselves. Their children, abandoned children by both parents. They had to live with their relatives. And if we don't do what we do, how are they going to survive? I know God could bring anyone to do the job, but there are lots of young people out there that are waiting for you and I to step in our right places to
That's right.
impact them.
That's
And
right.
it is until we leave our comfortable zone, comfort zone. Like
Yes.
I was walking. Let me tell you one thing. I was why when I came back to Lagos after NYC, I was receiving a salary above 100,000 as at 2007 8. My salary was okay for me. I could get a golf car. I was okay with life. However, the truth was that I was not satisfied. I didn't enjoy going to work. I would be on my decks, I would be lost. I could be browsing, and it's all about what am I going to do? What next are we going to do for young people out there? This child needs help in GCE. How am I going to connect this child to a mentor? So it wasn't just about the money. I got disinterested in that job. So until I found myself out. And the truth was that they even asked me to go. And I also told them I was ready to go. Yes, yes, I sincerely. I loved computer. I actually changed from biology to computer science. But when I went for NYC, the story changed. I lost interest in computer science. And it was all about what are you going to do for that child out there that doesn't have a mother, that is from a broken home, and is not even the fault of that child. I tell you, there are children we are working with at the moment that they have no one to take care of them. So there are times we buy food for them. There are times when we get clothing, we go and give them in their houses. Whatever opportunities we have, we go and extend this to this kind of children. And could I also tell you that when we started this school, there was the child that was a sickler, and the parents never knew until the child fainted in school. And we had to cover the bills, the medical bills, take this child. And they got to know for the first time that this child was a sickle cell, carrier. There was another one, I'm sorry to say, she had HIV, and the father never knew. And this is the only surviving child of our family. The mother passed on and all the children passed on. So this child happened to be in our school, but we noticed, this child, there's a whole lot wrong with you, the way you're looking. We had to take this child to different hospitals, cover the medical bills. So these are the gaps that we are filling. Until this child is taking our drugs. What if somebody didn't step into the
That's
toll?
right.
So this is actually a call to everyone. There's so much we can
Yes,
do for this nation.
yes, yes,
There's so
yes.
much change that we can bring about, because these children we abandon today, what will happen in 5 years' time to the
Yes,
10.5 million out of school
yes.
children? Not 10,000, 10.5 million.
10.5.
What? Oh, yes, 10.5 million. It's not enough to secure your own house and your children. You need to extend it.
True.
Sincerely, you need to start extending it and start ensuring your community. We are the children that could that could become a threat in the future. What are you doing to help them, to engage them? So that is what we're doing. The school we run, we are more than at present we are about 198 children that come to school. They don't pay school fees. We've taken that responsibility upon ourselves. And we just want these children to move from one point to the other so that they don't remain where they are. And they'll start having a kind of regret in the
Fantastic.
future.
Fantastic. Fantastic,
Oh,
Tosin. Fantastic work.
thank you.
Fantastic work. I can't speak too much about the impact of this one work that you have chosen to do. Letting
Thank
go of
you.
every other thing, and for some, you may necessarily not have to leave your job to do this thing that you have been called to do. For some, you may need to support the work that people like Tosi and some of our other guests that have been on the show are doing. That may just be what you need to do to be able to truly just put your hand to the work that makes the future better for Nigeria. Tosin, can you tell someone? Can you tell? Can you tell someone watching today that thinks that it's daunting to truly just begin to do this work? Even you, with all the strength and courage you've mustered over the years, you talk about your overwhelm. How do someone watching us today that thinks that this is really huge? How do we begin to take the first step? How do we begin to work? And what can we do? Even for children, or talking about this 10.5 children, point 5 million children. How can we begin to, from the little that we can get, be able to make impact with this set of people? How do we take the first step?
As as an individual, I tell young people, you don't need to have a million naira in your account before you can make impacts.
Fantastic.
Once you have the mind to work, once you have this mindset that I want to make a change, over the years we've seen God stepping in and
True.
making ways for us. And I've seen there are a lot of times that personally, because while I was working, a whole lot of my salaries actually went into this funding for programs for young people. It got to a time that the money was not there, but we believed God. Because truly, I'm not a motivational speaker, but I've come to realize that whatever God ordains, He sustains. And there,
Yes.
and truly, there are times
Oh,
that
yeah.
the truth is that There are times also that the funding may not come the way you want them.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
also doesn't mean that God has not ordained what you're doing. It
True.
could be a
True.
test period. There are
True. True.
seasons. You should understand every
Mm-hmm.
season. There are
Mm-hmm.
dry season and there are seasons when
Mm-hmm.
you have plenty. There are
Mm-hmm.
seasons when we had nothing and we had to go
Mm.
and get money from people to pay teachers' salaries. And there was a time, like last year, Stanbic IBTC came and they said they were going to be paying our teachers' salaries. And they've been
Mm.
paying this for over 1 month, 1 year. So there are
Fantastic.
seasons. So there are times,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were times when our objectives were misinterpreted, even by some
Mm-hmm.
guardians and parents.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yes.
felt you are just using their children's picture. You
Mm.
want to make
Mm.
money out of it.
Mm.
It was a big issue
Mm.
in the community, but
Mm.
we
Mm.
needed to calm them down. That no,
Mm.
we had to do this publicity because we want the
Yes.
government to be aware of what we are doing. It's
Mm-hmm.
not for their support or sponsorship. If we get the
Yes.
sponsorship, fine, but we want the best. So there are times that you won't cry in the midnight. Don't
Mm.
give up, but please
Mm.
follow your mind.
Mm.
Follow your mind. There are
Mm.
times when you will be so unreasonable. I'm so thankful to my parents actually, because it was crazy to leave a well-paying job and start running after street children and looking for people that have not lost or looking for children that have not eaten. It's like crazy. It's like moving from your comfort
From the
zone
known.
to
Yeah.
a no zone. And
Yeah.
there are times you are stranded as if God has forgotten you. No, He hasn't.
Yeah.
Please be consistent. That is the
Mm-hmm.
key word, please. Don't give up on your dream.
Mm-hmm.
Once you discover yourself that this is what you want to do, this is you feel complete doing this, please go for
Mm.
it. Like teaching has
Fantastic.
been part of me, primary school, even in secondary school. I remember I won't teach my colleagues, I won't teach my mates. When biology was my best, biology and
Mm.
mathematics at the University of Lagos. I could remember even as an undergraduate, there were days I would teach PGD students. I will teach them in computer and a lot of things. In NYSA, I did some teaching. So teaching had been something that had been a part of my journey. So running a school where we gather children and we are teaching them, it's something that had been. It's just all about me discovering what makes me whole, what makes me complete,
Mm.
then going fully into it. And there
Mm.
are times people won't talk you, they want to talk you out of it. You need to be
Mm.
convinced of God's calling on your life and why
Mm.
you are doing what you're doing. The truth is, whether in the education sector or health
Mm.
sector, there are people that will do things because they have the passion to do it. And
Agree.
two, there are people that will do things because they have the strategies on how to make money out of that business. It is business for some people. It is a ministry and calling for others.
An
So you need
impact to
to
some others.
Yes, you need to understand why you're doing what you're doing so that when the funding is not coming, you will not back out and say, oh,
True.
I'm tired, there's no money. But that why, that big why, will keep helping you to go through every journey because you
Wow.
understand that you're doing
Wow.
it for that.
Yeah. So see,
Thank you.
you've said so much today. I see Esosa Isogo Longe. Thank you so much for showing up. She says, first time I'm tuning in. Thank you, Esosa. God bless you, Oluwatosin. This is a lot. She's watching. I was like, oh my goodness, this is a lot to see. You know, thank you for watching, Esosa. Thank you, Tosin. Your
Thank you.
work,
Thank you.
like I said,
Thank
even
you.
from the from the time I came in contact with your work, I'm like, oh my goodness, this young lady is doing so much
Thank
with
you.
pushing beyond boundaries. And this is what the show
Thank
is
you.
about. Because we want to
Thank
show
you.
people that it doesn't have to be so much or so little. There is something you have to do. You know, just stepping in and looking for the guide, looking for clarity, seeking for clarity. I think sometime in the next 2 weeks we'll be putting up an offer for clarity sessions for people that want to begin to do something about impact. Before we start our next season, we'll be putting out an offer for a free clarity session for a couple of people. If you want to, please jump in, watch this space and jump in quickly. There is no time to waste. We cannot all sit at the fence and just say that the government is not doing this or doing that. You know, you said something earlier in the show that it's not enough to build walls around our own children. It's not enough to build the world around our own children because they will go to interact with these people that
Yeah.
we don't want to think about. They will become the threat in the future. We don't want that. We don't want that. Every child deserves an opportunity of a good life. Every child deserves an education, quality education at that. So we cannot sit and pretend like these things are not happening, like our public schools are not at a very all low. You know, so we have public schools, but a lot of public schools are nothing to write home about. You know, and so we need to support people like Tosin. So, Tosin, can you tell our viewers how they can support your work? You know, how they can support what you're doing, and if they want to support, and how they can also provide support through the networks, you know, for the work that you do with the schools. Yeah. Can you tell us?
Yes, like I said earlier, most of the children we work with are children from they're victims of broken homes. So they live with single
Mhm,
parents that have remarried. So their attention is not on these children again. So they're like lone rangers. We had to bring them together. So there are times to feed them. So we are looking for support on child sponsorship, child sponsors. So we are hoping to have individuals come to tell us that I want to sponsor a child. Okay, it's just
mhm,
25. We are putting it at 25,000 naira because we're going to buy all of the textbooks for this child. We're going to get bags, we're going to get shoes and uniform for this child. So, as many that are interested, we want child sponsors. We also want, it could be you want to celebrate birthday or you have some things you want to donate. That would be fantastic. We're very open to that. And also, we are looking at having a place of our own where we have the school currently is actually not, it doesn't belong to us. It was given to us on lease. However, we've been able to serve consistently almost 200 children every day. They
mhm,
come here.
mhm,
And so we are hopeful, we're very open to getting, a bigger place where we can even have a
mhm,
secondary school so that we
mhm,
can support these children from primary to secondary school. So we're very open. You could follow us on our blog, you could follow us on our Instagram page, and also um, we want them to go digital as well because during COVID, there were lots of schools going online, and you hear about e-learning, mobile learning, virtual learning. But these children, it was a no-go area because the resources were not there. So as a school, we had to be going from one home to the other, dropping paper, worksheets for them to learn with. Then we got the solar radio. We'll play this solar radio. We'll teach into a flash, then play this when we go meet these children so that they can learn from spoken words that had been done by the
mhm,
teachers. So we are actually looking at having a digital hub, having a
mhm.
library in the community where where they could access books, get connected
Resources.
to the
Yeah,
internet. Yes, yes,
yeah, yeah.
that is a
Okay, fantastic. I see Ilori Olusegun also. A comment
oh,
says
wow.
that comment
Wow.
just gave me a push. To someone, to some, it's a calling, and to others, it's a business. Yes, that's true. You know, a lot of people are in this thing for different reasons. And you know, the earlier I tell some people that you need to understand what are you here to do. You know, and you can be a social enterprise. You could run a school full time, you know, and it's also an impactful thing to teach children and run a school for profit. But you need to really cut it. What is it that you want to do? And focus on what it is that you want to do. Whatever way, you know, you need to be able to, there's so much within that space, you know. So everyone needs to, you know, and there are also people that want to merchandise out of this situation. And so there are a couple of social development problems that people are merchandising away from. We need to understand it. And we cannot, you cannot create a merchandise out of a problem and become the solution to that problem. You cannot. So we need to come to a point where we recognize that Africa needs us, our communities need us, the people
Yes.
need us.
Yes.
So whoever you are and whatever it is that burden you, you need to become the solution, the person that becomes the problem solver. We had a couple last week on the show, and they were talking about, impact is simply just becoming the problem solver. Wherever you are, what is it you can do? What is it that I can do? If you, right now as we speak, if you look around you, you will recognize the things that you have missed just because you were not looking. You will recognize a lot of things that you had missed because you were not looking. Uh, yeah, because you were not looking. And that's how we get to do things. That's how we get to do one thing or the other in making impact. Sometimes some people say to me, I think it was yesterday I wrote something, and it's actually a consequence of a lot of people say to me that you do good to people and they pay you back badly. You've also talked about a couple of people, how do you even reconcile that you're trying to help people and they actually, they're judging your motive. They're judging your motive. They don't understand it. And so it's not for you to get angry. It's not for you to
Yeah.
get angry because the Bible says something that the love doesn't fail. Love
Yeah.
doesn't fail. So if you truly are in there for love, if you truly are in there to serve, you need to be patient to explain your motive. You need to allow time to actually fine tune because time tests everything. So the time that you spend serving these people would help them to know truly that you're in for them and not for
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
So I like you to speak to people feeling like they've done in the past, they've been kind to people, and we're in a cruel world, and people have paid them back wrongly. People have done XYZ to them. And so sometimes you find people that have closed their hearts to really becoming the goods that they can become. Can you speak to that? Because I know that if you're hurting, you can't give anything out of a heart that is hurt. You have to be able to release that and be able to move from a point where love flows from your heart to the
Yeah.
people. Can you speak
Yeah.
to people that are hurting, people that have done this before, people that have tried to do this before and have been hurt? How do they get past their hurts? How do they get past the feeling of pain and mistrust, to really doing and making impact? Yes.
I think the first thing is that have this mindset that the fact that you're doing good does not mean that everybody must do good in return to you. That is the
I get it.
truth. Yes.
Yes.
Have this. Don't say because you're doing good, then everybody will appreciate you. And actually, it's supposed to be that. But sadly, even the
Mm,
something Jesus said that in this world you will have tribulations. So in your callings, you shouldn't expect anything lesser. So you
mm,
still need to understand your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Like in the school where we run, it won't surprise you that there are some guardians, that there are some parents, there are some relatives of these children that will serve, that instead of buying a notebook, they will rather go and buy a shoebi, and you see them dressed, well dressed for parties. In such a situation, what are you going to do? I just like, no, don't bother. It's about this child. It's not about the parents.
mm.
That is one thing with us. We say no. The ministry we are called to do. It's for the children. It's not for their parents.
Tell the truth. Yeah.
Sincerely, that is what because we've seen
Because that is
we've
that can
we've
be
seen a
very
lot.
offensive to think that
Very,
this
very.
is your child and you're trying to help your
Yes.
child and you would
And you
rather
care
give
less.
money to frivolities.
But do
Yes.
you know another thing? The another thing is that I have also come to realize that If we know better, we'll do better.
We'll do
The
better.
more we know, yes, the more we know, it will inform us. So sometimes
They
you don't
don't
need to
know
blame
better.
these people. Yes, you don't blame these people because of how they act or react to you. It's because of the
True,
knowledge they have. So
true,
what you have to
true.
do is that protect your own mindset. Don't feel bad. Don't feel sorry for yourself that they don't appreciate you enough. That is why they are stealing from you. They don't appreciate you enough. That is why they are saying all. You have to focus on your focus. I've learned that. Focus
Yes.
on why you're doing what you're doing. It's not about yeah, they won't disappoint you. A lot of disappointment, a lot of betrayal, a lot of forced stories that people will cook just to come and get from you. Please, once that happens, I beg, move on. Come off it. Don't don't, I mean, it could be, sometimes you might want to feel bad, really bad. It could hurt. But please, they are not the only ones that God sent you to. There are many other. Because if you're going to say because of one person's sin, you are not
Yes.
going to do what God wants you to do, then you are going to deprive a whole lot of young
Yourself.
people or
Even
people,
yourself.
yes, even yourself, from fulfilling purpose. So, in fulfilling purpose, there are hurdles that we come across. But please come off it as soon as you can. But focus, persevere, be consistent in your calling. Not that you do this, you do that, and you have a whole lot you're doing, and people I cannot really pin you to this is what you actually, this is what you're calling it. So please focus on your focus. Don't understand the big why you're doing what you're doing, and always pray for more of God's grace, because that is
Fantastic.
all what we need.
Fantastic. I think it's one of my last questions, and I'm going to ask it. And this is because I see a lot of people.
Okay.
So this, you're doing an amazing work, no doubt. But can you tell me how this has changed you? How this has brought value to you, beyond the value that you bring? I'm of that opinion that impact changes us. Impact changes us first before it changes other people. The work that we do must, you know, what are the children giving you? What is that thing that just being in the center of this work has brought to you as a person? Can you share with us those?
Um, a man that finds purpose is the man that is living. I mean, because you you'll be fulfilled in your purpose. You won't be having running helter skelter and doing a whole lot of things that God has not called you to do. So once you know your purpose, finding myself by the grace of God where I am today, actually, it hasn't been funny, but it's been challenging. However, I'm so thankful for every journey, and also thankful for every support and partners on this journey, because if it hadn't been for this journey of supporting children and helping children, we wouldn't have the US government recognizing our work. We wouldn't have the Embassy of Japan coming to tell us that, okay, you lost a child and you want us to come and equip the abandoned primary health care center in your community. Oh, fine, we're going to do it. And they came from Abuja. I was like, no, this means so much, that it means it's not about your location where you are. You could be local and still be making global impacts. So for
Fantastic.
people to come, yeah, you could be in a rural community. It's not about your place where
Doesn't
you
matter.
are. It's about you, giving attention to what God wants you to do. So we've had recognition from United Pastor Service, and it's all this. We're not doing what we're doing for these awards. But when they come, they bring me to perspective that it seems there's something that you're doing right. It's making sense, because I tell you, there are times it doesn't make sense. When people say you are doing, when people say you are doing a whole lot of work, they do not see the behind the screen saying what happens. There are times when you don't even have money to run some things you want to run, and people are committing funds to you to help children that you don't even know. and you have to stay faithful, consistent to doing those things.
mm,
So you have to be faithful in little for God to commit a whole lot into your hands. And this is one thing that this journey has taught me, because I could remember. I mean, it's been challenging and tough. However, we are thankful, because I remember there was a statement a colleague of mine made when I was working, and she said that people don't trust NGOs again, that because
mm,
they mismanage funds. Then
mhm,
within me that day, I just felt, God, I want to stand in the gap. I want to make a difference. I want to
mhm,
change this narrative, because
mhm.
it's not true that,
Yes.
okay, this, so that was actually part of why I came into this space, that I want to
Mm,
change the narrative. So whatever funding we are getting, we will send you a receipt. So it's been something that's been wholesome for me. I'm so thankful for every
mm.
opportunity.
Rounding up. Tosi, thank you so, so, so much.
Oh yeah.
Your last word, your last word. Just, we are rounding up in 2 minutes. So just share your last word, and encourage us,
Hmm.
our what do we call this? Our sign off always is everyday people can make impact every day.
Okay.
Can you say your last word uh, in line with that, please?
Whatever you know you can do to help anyone out there, please just go ahead and do it. Don't be discouraged by what people will say or think of you. Just do it. And when you are leaving this world, the truth is people will remember you for what you have done, and not what the government has not done or hasn't or have done. So please play your parts and let the world feel your impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Tosi. I love you so much. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
making
much.
time for this show. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
your heart with us. Thank you for
Thank
impacting
you.
us. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the work that you do. And to
Yeah.
all our viewers, everyone that stopped by today to watch the show, please share the videos. Share the video, share and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's calling on the screen. You can follow Tosi's work at Tosi O Taiwo on Instagram and at Street to School NG on Instagram. You can also share with us your impact story. Share with us how you are making impact. Share with us someone you know is making impact, and we would reach out to that person and share their stories also on our impact story handles. We want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the videos, subscribe, click on the link, and share. Thank you again for another episode of this Impact Life show. And the series we are on is Chronicles of Impact, where we share stories and the journeys of impact of our amazing guests. It's been an
Thank you.
amazing and beautiful time on the show today, I must say.
Thank
I hope
you.
you have been
Thank you.
inspired just as I have been. My name again is Isioma Success Olubenga, and I'm signing off with Oluwatosin Olowoyeye
Thank
Taiwo.
you.
Thank you, Tosi, for being on the show. Bye bye,
Thank
all our
you.
viewers. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye. Till we come again next week.